In the studio this St. Patrick's Eve is Mike Burnett, who has a few words of wisdom for you. Mike.
Thank you, Pat. Now, don't go away, because there's a terrific special on the making of the Jewel in the Crown and a party with all of the primary players in that, and I know you're going to enjoy that. You are telling us that you enjoyed that program in the best possible way by calling us at 265-1020 and becoming members of KPBS. I will look around. We have one phone, two phones. Nope, there goes that one. One phone that you can call right now, 265-1020. But if you call and you get a busy signal, please do try us again. This is a very quick process of signing people up for membership here. It takes 30 seconds to a minute, and you'll be able to get through if you just give it a few tries. 265-1020 is the number, and thank you so much for your tremendous response so far. We really do appreciate that. You know, we are committed very deeply to continuing to bring you the quality of programming that you deserve and that you continue to enjoy on KPBS. And in order to do that, we really do need you to become part of the partnership. If you are still sitting there, you are not getting up and making that phone call, please make that commitment right now to quality programming in your life by pledging $5 a month, $10 a month to KPBS. We've had a lot of help putting this together this evening. Some of our production costs have been paid for by one of our very valuable business sponsors, and that sponsor is Hohen Motors. To say it more formally, this evening's broadcast costs have been paid for in part by Hohen Motors, Mercedes, Oldsmobile, Honda, Maserati, located in Car Country, Carlsbad, I-5 at Palomar Airport Road. And we will use that as a subtle hint to some of those of you who own businesses. Think of what a marvelous advertising by Hohen Motors got this evening by bringing this evening of programming, or helping to bring this evening of programming to San Diego. We also want to thank Mrs. Dottie Smith of La Jolla, who's another valuable part of bringing this evening to us. She is now a renewed member of our Producers Club. She called up with her pledge of membership that qualifies her for the Producers Club, and thank you so much, Mrs. Smith, for that pledge. There are all sorts of thank you gifts available when you make that commitment at $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever is comfortable for you. And when you get your information packet in the mail after you make your phone call to 265-1020, you'll have a wide array of what we call premiums, various thank you gifts to you to choose from. So do make that call. We have a goal for tonight. We want to see 350 new members in the door for KPBS. Right now, going into this break, we had 268. So we need to hear those phones ring. We really do. We've spent the money from these memberships already on programming. So make that call tonight before you forget. 265-1020. We hope you'll enjoy now this special program on the Jewel in the Crown.
The Jewel in the Crown salute is made possible in part with funds provided by this public television station, which depends largely on viewer contributions. Please join them with your support. With additional funding from British Airways, flying to 139 cities in 70 countries around the world.
I'm Susan Stamberg, and this is a special salute to the Jewel in the Crown. We're talking with the stars of the series, Charles Dance, Geraldine James, Art Mallock, and to begin, the man we love to hate in these past 14 weeks, Tim Pigott-Smith. We have come to know him as Ronald Merrick.
It's not enough to say that I'm English and you're Indian, that I'm the ruler and you're one of the ruled. Some people talk of comradeship between your kind and mine, and there is a comradeship of a sort. It's basic. But do you really know on what it's based? On fear. Contempt on my side, and fear on yours.
Tim Pigott-Smith with a beard.
Yes. I'm growing the beard for protection in America.
You may need it. We've just left this series, and I think we're still very full of it. You've had a wider parting, I think, than we have as viewers. So I have to ask you some specific questions, just on the basis of the last episode. Who killed Merrick? What's your theory?
Well, I have my own theory. I think perhaps one of the things I could say is who didn't kill him, and I think it's quite clear that Harry Kumar had nothing to do with it at all. I think the person who is most clearly implicated is Pandit Baba, or at least the people with whom he is connected. a very strong Hindu movement who very quietly wait. India's a place where time doesn't really count. And they wait and just pursue him and let him know that he's being watched and eventually track him down and trap him in that extraordinary way and reveal to him the nature of his own perversion, and then, rather like a Tuggy kind of incident, terminate his life. I think he knows it's going to happen too, and I think he's reached a point in his life when he actually wants it to happen.
Why?
Because the persecution has gone on for so long. I mean, one remembers the bicycle from very early on, and the Kabbalistic marks, the snake in the bath.
The stone being thrown.
Everything. Well, I don't think the stone was thrown. I think that's part of his own paranoia. I don't think there was anybody there. I think at that stage he's actually gone mad.
But, you know, I wonder if it's not something more than that, and the idea of his reaching a point where maybe he can't live with himself anymore, and it comes in the acknowledgement of his homosexuality.
Sure, right. I mean, I think he's realised that he's homosexual for a long time, but of course he's only begun to practice homosexuality as a result of this bait that's been sent to him in the presence of these young Indian boys. And then he begins to realise the things that were wrong in his relationship with Harry Kumar and why he beat him. I mean, I think he first must have known that he was homosexual in the cells when he tortures him.
Yes, yes. Explain, I was confused by the Pathan costume that he puts on. What is that?
Well, his wife, of course, is given to believe that it's to do with spying.
Yes.
I think it's part of a ritual humiliation that he goes through because his whole life has been based on the theory of racial superiority. And what he learns, the journey that he travels from the beginning of the film to the end, is to learn how hollow that theory is. And in order to create a relationship with an inferior breed, he dresses himself in their clothes, blackens his face, and then feels capable of expressing his love. I think it's something like that.
Yes.
It's impossible. Also, the Pathan culture is an openly homosexual culture.
So it makes sense. Oh, it's so wonderful to be able to ask you all of this after the fact. But you know something else I noticed? At the end, there's no tidy ending. There are loose ends. I mean, all right, Merrick is dead. And a lot of people were very happy. Don't take this personally, but in fact, that's true. But nothing was really neatly sewn up, and it ends in these awful massacres on the trains. And that was just the beginning, in fact, in Indian history.
I think that seems to me to be an accurate reflection of what Paul Scott is writing about. I think he's writing about the legacy of empire. And the legacy of empire is guilt and untidy endings. I had an extraordinary experience in Simla when we were staying there. It's a remarkable town which is built on a ridge, and the main roads run along the hill, and they're interconnected by very steep, dark stairways. I was walking the streets one day, and I came across a door, and on the door it said Kumar, teller of oaths. I didn't have my camera with me, and I searched that town to find that door again, and I never found it. And that, to me, is the untidiness that you're left with. Harry is a black Englishman in the middle of this vast country. The pain of it is just terrible. And there are similar, I mean, is the Vietnam legacy tidy? Is the Northern Ireland legacy going to be tidy? I don't think it is, and that's why I think it ends like that. I think it also ends in that way to leave you with discomfort and pain and questions.
And need to think about it some more, and need to talk about it some more. Tell how you created the character of Merrick and what your clue was to some of the physical things that you did. I saw Merrick sewn up in the jaw of yours, which we can no longer see because of that darn beard. But it was something that jaw clench that you did.
Well, I did two things. The first thing I did was go to see a criminal psychiatrist, and I talked to him about the scene in the cells, because I thought if I could understand what the mental processes were in that scene, I could then develop the rest of the character. I mean, he must know then that he's homosexual. How does he live with that for the rest of his life? That was the first step. The second was to work with a rather extraordinary woman when we were rehearsing in London, who said that middle-class people, and of course it's essential to understand that Merrick is a middle-class man fighting in an upper-class world, often put a great deal of effort into their lives, and this somehow gives them a determination in the jaw. So we started, she said, sit down in front of a mirror. I don't know if I can do it now, because it's a long time since I've had to do it. But when you push the jaw forward in a kind of determined way. Something happens here which is actually to do with contempt. And that is the mainspring of the character. He says to Harry in the cells, there is a relationship of the kind between you and me, but do you know on what it's based? Contempt and fear. Contempt on my side and fear on yours. So when I hit that kind of look and got it right, it seemed to me absolutely the nub of the character and his journey.
Did you find off the set, off camera, you held onto that clenched jaw and you did that walk of yours?
No, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
But it affects you mentally, of course, because if you're doing a play on stage, you can switch it on and switch it off. There are certain limitations. When you're doing a film, you haven't finished the film till you finish the film. So you have to do a bit of it every day. You have to live with it and think about it and go through it. And that's 16 months of living with a fruitcake. It's going to affect you, you know.
You said fruitcake, you didn't say villain. You don't think Ronald Merrick was a villain?
Well, of course he does villainous things, but I have great sympathy with him. I mean, I think the middle-class boy, which is what Scott was writing about, what did the ordinary man who believed in the empire do? And the irony of this tragic man is that he believes in all these great empiric values. That's what he's there for. And it's desperately sad that it all goes so wrong. The final image of this man with his half an arm and his damaged face is an image of the corruption that's been allowed to fester underneath the surface of somebody who was a member of the establishment.
He was so hardworking, he was so ambitious, he was
great.
getting...
I mean, one of the interesting points in England, people's attitudes began to change publicly when he lost his arm and was burnt, because they'd seen him try to pull Teddy out of the... Gee, of course, his motives are a little mixed even then. That's why he's such a fascinating character, I think. But people began to see him more sympathetically.
What sort of reaction did you get as the series was playing in Great Britain, and was it different from the reaction you're getting now from those on this side of the ocean?
Yeah, it was. The reaction in the States is very different. I have a suspicion that Americans rather like baddies, you know. They rather admire villains. Something, you know, the tough guy who goes for it. In England, to begin with, there was some violence. I was standing on a tube station one day, and a little man was standing by my side, and he looked up at me and went, "Bloody hell, it's you," he said, and he shot up the platform and just ran away. And then there was the lady who said, "Are you thing?" with real anger. And I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "Are you Merrick?" I said, "Well, if you had a restaurant, I would not eat at it." What she meant by that, I really don't.
She meant you were a terrific actor. I wonder, in the course of doing this, what the most important lesson that you as an Englishman learned about your own country and its relationship with India?
I think I learned a very uncomfortable lesson, actually, and it makes me feel a little uneasy to talk about it. But I think the life of an immigrant in England is pretty dreadful. And I suspect, although we don't have Merricks around, that there is still a kind of superiority in our attitudes, probably not only to people because of their color, that would be too simple, but because of their race. And I think it's made a lot of people question the kind of easy liberality that appears to have crept in to race relations. And I think it's a very good thing to question it, and I think it'll probably help in the end.
This is an impossible question. Forgive it, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
Yes.
If you were to pick one favorite scene from
the entire series, my favorite scene is the proposal to Daphne. There's a moment when she actually turns him down, when he withdraws into himself and dies and goes into an emotional hole from which he will never emerge. And it was a wonderful scene to play, because Susie, who plays Daphne, is so wonderful. It's wonderfully written, it's wonderfully observed. It wasn't a difficult scene to play, but I think Scott's compassion and my compassion for Merrick is greatest at that moment in time. I'm only asking whether, after you've had time to think about it,
you'd consider the possibility of becoming engaged to me.
Oh. Well, thank you, Ronald.
I thought I'd ask.
Yes, it was very kind. I'm awfully sorry. I hadn't really thought much about getting engaged to anyone.
Well, there you are. You like the music?
Yes, I did. I'm sorry. It was a marvelous dinner, too. You went to heaps of trouble. And I am sorry.
Tim Piggott-Smith, thank you so much for joining us.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
Coming up, Geraldine James, Sarah Layton. Charles Dance, Guy Perrin. Art Malek, Hari Kumar. And Granada Television Chairman Sir Dennis Foreman. First, a reminder that only on public television can you see programs like The Jewel in the Crown.
Hello, I'm Geraldine James, asking you to do your part now to support quality programming on public television. Make a contribution. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Geraldine. I think we really get a very strong impression of something Don Freeman once said in one of his columns, that acting was the British baseball. I mean, Tim Piggott-Smith doesn't look a thing like Ronald Merrick, and yet there he was. Well, I'd like you to follow up on what Geraldine James just suggested. If you would like to do your part to support quality programming on KPBS, on public television in general, go to your telephone right now and dial 265-1020 and tell the volunteer operator, who is probably from either the Department of Communicative Disorders at SDSU, which sponsors a speech and hearing clinic, or from Target Stores of San Diego, and tell that person that, yes, you're going to do your fair share to keep television worth watching going strong, because you believe that TV worth watching is TV worth paying for. Masterpiece Theater, as I said earlier, has been the mainstay on public television for fine drama for, I think it's been 12 years now. 12 wonderful years of some of the best television that has ever been seen in the United States, or in England for that matter. And if you believe, as I do, that this is the kind of programming that we do best, and this is almost a metaphor for what KPBS is about, then I hope you will be one of six, currently, one of six of our viewers is a member who calls 265-1020 and becomes a member tonight, supports the kind of programming in a financial manner that you watch. Do your fair share this evening. If you watch, if you enjoy, if you have loved The Jewel in the Crown as much as I have, if you're getting a real kick out of seeing these actors in their real personas, then do call right now and become a supporting member. It's as simple as that. If you would like to become a member at more than the basic level, which is $25 a year, we do have a special thank you gift that you people who are interested in drama may be interested in. It's called A World of Movies. It again is available at the membership level of $60 a year or $5 a month. Again, you can charge that on your Visa or MasterCard. It is 70 years of film history, and it goes almost to the present. We have Greta Garbo, we have Humphrey Bogart, as you can see there. There are all kinds of wonderful photographs and wonderful bits of information in that book. Here with me in the studio this St. Patrick's Day is Mike Burnett of KJOY Radio. Mike.
Well, thank you, Pat. You know, it's so important that we hear from you tonight. We have heard from so many of your friends and neighbors. We had a goal going into this evening, a hope, if you will, of 350 new members at KPBS. Well, you have done us very proud tonight. You have done yourself proud. We right now have 375 new members. We've exceeded our goal by 25. Please don't think that that means your membership wouldn't count if you called us at 265-1020, because every membership does count and helps to improve and and continue the quality of programming that you see here at KPBS. But thank you so much for your response to the Jewel in the Crown tonight and to the other fine programs that we have had. 375 new members means 375 contributions to quality programming right here in San Diego from KPBS. There is a price for quality. If you bought a fine bottle of wine, you would not expect it to be very, very cheap, and that is the case with KPBS as well. These programs are quite expensive to produce. That is why they are so good in many cases. Of course, money isn't the answer to everything. There has to be some talent and ingenuity as well, but we're fortunately able to attract that talent and ingenuity with the money that we have here at KPBS. The vast bulk of that money comes from you. That's why a few times a year we come before you and we interrupt your programming, and we know you get very tired of seeing us here. Believe me, there's nobody who would rather put themselves out of business than us. We'd love to have our general manager call us and say, hey, we have far too much money. We don't need to do pledge drive this time around. Well, that's not the case. We really do need your money, and that's why we're here asking you for it. Call us at 265-1020 and tell us you are ready to make that commitment to quality programming. There are a lot of benefits to membership in KPBS. Of course, the big benefit is the quality of programming that you enjoy. But another one is On Air Magazine. That's this right here. This is a complete listing of every program on KPBS, both the television station and the associated FM station, in much more detail than you will get from TV Guide or Tuned In magazine, fine though those magazines are for what they do. This focuses exclusively on the kind of programming that you're enjoying tonight, the programming on TV 15, and that comes to your home each and every month. You also have available to you a number of different thank you gifts at the different levels of membership, and you'll get all the information on those when you get your information packet in the mail. But to get that packet, you need to call us now at 265-1020, 265-1020, and tell us, I'm ready to pledge. I am ready to be a member of KPBS because I believe in what you're doing there. Do it now. Do it right now or you're going to forget. You know, we do a lot of research on the audience and on what makes people pledge. And we know that if you don't make that telephone call right now, good though your intentions may be, you're not going to make the call. So get up and do it now. We've built this whole system that makes it very, very convenient for you. We have all the operators here standing by. There are open telephones right now at 265-1020. You can charge your membership. If you have your Visa or your MasterCard handy, grab that and have it with you when you call us at 265-1020. We'll put it right on that card, and it'll be very simple for you. That's a good deal for us, too, frankly, because we get your money right away. And because of that, we'll give you a free keychain, a KPBS keychain. We'll show you a picture of that later in the evening here. Oh, there it is right now. That keychain is yours in addition to any other gift for which you may qualify when you charge it at 265-1020. But do get up and make that telephone call right now because we're waiting to hear from you. Here's Pat.
Thank you, Mike. Real quickly, a lot of people are probably wondering if they really need my membership. What do they do with it? I mean, I'm only one of 2 million people in San Diego. Let me tell you, we really do need your membership because memberships make up 42% of our revenues. 42%. That is the one largest chunk of our revenues that comes from anything, as you can see. Private support, other private support, just 12%, from SDSU 23, auction 7%, and federal, which is shrinking ever more, down to 16%. And of course, there's nothing at all from the state of California, I hate to say. So, we do need you. We need you very much, and it is very important that if you think this kind of programming should continue, that you help support it. Because as we've been saying for an entire week, and we're going to keep saying, TV worth watching is TV worth paying for. Now back to Susan Stamberg and Geraldine James.
Welcome back. In a minute, we will talk with other members of the cast of The Jewel in the Crown. But first, meet Sir Dennis Foreman. He is the chairman of England's Granada Television, and he's the man who made this series possible. Sir Dennis, congratulations on the series. It was a wonderful experience for us. As I understand it, you bought the right to Paul Scott's The Raj Quartet in 1978, and what you bought yourself was 2,000 pages, 800,000 words. How did you convert that onto a television screen?
Well, the first thing, I think, was you got a sense there was something going on in that book that would make very exciting television if you could catch it. And the second thing was to sort the narrative out in straight line order. Because the way that Paul Scott wrote was backwards, forwards, all over the place. So what we did was we wrote the story out in the proper time planes, starting at the beginning, right through to the end, and then put those on strips of paper and chopped them up into what might make a 1-hour television episode. So you could stand in the middle of a big room, and all around you, in 1-hour strips, you could see the Raj Quartet.
Just spread out. Would you walk around the room and see how it was doing? But, you know, even with that straightening out of the narrative line, still, it's so dense, and there's enough toing and froing inside the script that it views as if we're reading it. That is, we have to fight to understand what's happening now and what just happened the preceding moment, and where are we going, and oh, is it 7 months later? That gives it a kind of richness, I think.
That's absolutely true. In Paul Scott, no sentence is an island. No conversation stands on its own. Everything interlocks with everything else. And there are these reverberations. Something reminds you of something that's happened, foretells something that's going to happen. And that's what gives it its rich texture. And I think that although people may not analyze it in this way, that's what viewers recognize in that it is something more than just a good yarn. There is something underneath it which gives it a richness.
The gloomiest day in the course of this production happened back in England. It was the fire at Botany.
Yes, I sometimes think I brought the fire on myself, because I'd given a press interview a few weeks before, and they were questioning me about how easy or how difficult it all been, and I said that Jewel had been dogged with good luck. We'd never had any real bad weather problems, any real bad problems of any kind. So a few days later, I was up in the flat we have above our studios in Manchester, looking down on the Jewel warehouse, and I said, "It's funny light. Are they shooting late tonight? Very peculiar light." 2 or 3 other people came to the window with me, and in 5 minutes the whole building was ablaze, and in 20 minutes it was finished, flat and over. And the biggest problem was not that we lost the studio, we could find other studios, we lost Merrick's arm.
But you know, this is fascinating. Maybe it was God's word to you, something. Fire was a recurring symbol throughout Jewel in the Crown. And what does it symbolize?
Well, in India, there is something about fire being purifying. In all Indian religions, and indeed many other religions, you have fire near the altar or on the altar. Paul Scott did use it. I think perhaps we used it a little more than he would have meant us to. I think that because we were dealing with movies and we wanted something visual, we found a connection between Miss Crane burning herself to death and the other sequence of fires, for instance, like Teddy's death and the baby being circled by the scorpion. So it was Chris Morahan's idea. And I was a little leery of it to start with. I thought it might be pushing it a bit far, but in the end it worked. It was all right.
Now, I know you've spent so many years thinking about the British experience in India. If the British had left earlier, say after the First World War, might things have been a little easier? I mean, could then that awful communal rioting, the hideous massacres which continued far after the ending of the Jewel in the Crown, might that have been avoided, or were the tensions always there between Hindu and Muslim?
The tensions were there, but the plum wasn't ripe. I mean, you couldn't let India fall away by then, because politically at home, and indeed imperially, from the point of view of imperial defense, as it was called, where the British Navy was using a lot of stations in India. India was still part of the defense system. Now, as soon as World War II was over, it was part of nothing. It is a very awkward business. It's like outgrowing or outliving a house, and you don't know what to do with it. I mean, India had its own independent existence. And we were landlords by no right, but we were landlords. We were there. And I don't think we can go too far back in raking over the ashes. But the one thing that I think we have, all of us who were there at the time, will never stop thinking about whether we got out right or not.
Thank you, Sir. Joining
Joining me now is Art Malik, the man who brought Hari Kumar to life and brought him to life so beautifully. What happens to Hari? Have you asked yourself this at the age of 55? What's he doing?
He's probably absorbed into a village somewhere. He's probably, I doubt if he ever got married. He probably taught English. He surrounded himself probably with certain memorabilia, like the photograph of Daphne, the card that Guy Perron left him, the books, and he tried to be an Indian. That's what would have happened. He just, at the end of it, he was released from prison. He let India open up, he went into it, and India closed in. He found home. I'd like to think he found home.
I'm so haunted by that last vision of Hari, sitting in his room with the photograph and Guy's calling card. And somebody said to me, in a way, that scene tells you Hari, is the symbol of India. That is, he's been beaten, bloody, by the British, and yet he can't break the ties. In that last moment, surrounded by those British connections, it really, in a way, crystallizes that sort of love-hate relationship that India felt for the British.
I don't know whether Hari was totally beaten, really. I'd like to feel he wasn't, because I think he wasn't beaten because he never said anything. When Rowan says to him, have you got anything else to say? And he's just found out that she is dead, that she has died, that she died in childbirth, that she did not get married. He knows it is his child. He has not been beaten. He will not, even for the sake of wanting to see his own child, break the promise that he made to her. The last time he saw her, she was running away after being raped. He shouted, I promise.
I've got to be with you. I love you. Please, let me be with you.
Mustn't. No. We've never seen each other. You've been at home. You saw nothing. You know nothing. Promise me. Oh. There's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do. Nothing.
I promise!
When you sat down to be Hari, what did you say to yourself? How did you say, I'll hold my head, or I'll set my shoulders, or was there some physical way that you set on how to convey him, how to convey that character?
No, the area wasn't the physical area that I was interested in. The area that I was really interested in with Hari was to try and get the upperclassness of the man, the top draw of the man, to get vocally the authority that he has, so that when we first encounter him in the morning, and Merrick says, "Tumhara naam kya hai?" he just turns around and says, and in that moment you know exactly that the status is like that.
Yes, Tumhara naam kya hai means, what is your name?
What is your name? And he says, I'm sorry. I don't understand Hindi.
And you see what that wall is.
Yeah. I mean, he's just said it, that's all.
Yeah. You are not Indian, Art Malik. You are Pakistani. You were born in Pakistan,
born in Pakistan.
And then brought to England rather young and raised there.
At the age of 3.
Yeah. So you had never been to India?
I went to India when I was about 11, really, to go back to the village where my family came from in Bihar, and met my grandfather, really.
I'd have to ask you this difficult question I've asked all your colleagues as well. If you were to choose a favorite scene of you being Hari from all those episodes, which would it be?
I think it would be the interrogation scene with Rowan. I think that scene, to me, was the one moment that he nearly opened up. He nearly said it all. And And the difficulty with that scene was always finding how far you go, how far do you actually let him open visually to the audience, and then bang, it comes down, and that's it, you know. He'll never do anything again. I agreed to this examination because I thought Daphne had finally persuaded someone to believe the truth. It begins to smell of an uneasy conscience. Something's happened to her, and I'm the loose end you want to tie up. What's happened? Is she dead? I've sometimes felt it, but she is. I should have said. Should have told me.
We presumed you knew.
Art Malik, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Coming up, Geraldine James, Sarah Layton. Charles Dance, Guy Perrin. First, a moment off so that your local station can bring you a message.
Good programming doesn't just happen. It needs to be encouraged and supported. Good evening. I'm Tim Pickett-Smith, and I'm asking you to support public television by making a contribution. Please do. Thank you.
That was my favorite scene as well with Hari Kumar. I wish they would have let it run a little bit longer. It's an absolutely terrific scene. But right now, if you agree with Tim Pickett-Smith, and if you agree that good programming needs to be encouraged, and that we look for you to do the encouraging, please go to your telephone right now and call the number you see right there below me, 265-1020, and tell the operator who answers that you agree that TV worth watching is TV worth paying for, and that you're going to do the paying, and you're going to start right now this evening. That you've finally decided that the Jewel in the Crown has inspired you to become a member of KPBS, a supporting member. It's very easy. All we do is ask for your name, your address, the amount of your pledge, your telephone number. We take about 1 minute of your time. That's it. I think people sometimes are afraid we keep you on the phone for 5 or 10 minutes, but that's not the case. We would like to get as many members as possible in the few minutes that are allotted to us in the breaks in this salute to the Jewel in the Crown. So please do call 265-1020. $25 a year is the basic level. $5 a month will get you a lovely thank you gift. You may charge your membership on your Visa or your MasterCard. We'll take money in rupees, not really, but any sort of way you would like to give, we would certainly love to take it. Because membership is a great portion of our budget. 42% of our revenues come from people like you who agree that television worth watching is television worth paying for. And so, in these little periods, we come to you and we appeal to you directly. Because during the rest of the year, you know, we don't have commercials at all. We don't try to sell you toothpaste or automobiles or harangue you for 2 or 3 minutes in between programs about buying products. But 3 times a year, we have to come and appeal directly. We kind of cut out the middleman altogether, and we appeal directly and say, okay, we need your help. Quality is expensive, and it is our viewers who must unfortunately foot the bill, because that's the way the American public television system works. Everybody who is a member will get a copy of On Air magazine in their homes. I'll hold it up right here. I think you've probably seen the Tiger from the Land of the Tiger, which is on tomorrow night, many times before. But On Air is a terrific little magazine. We have features on public broadcasting shows and personalities, as well as doings in San Diego, food and books, all kinds of things, electronics, whatnot. It comes once a month, and I know you and your family will enjoy receiving On Air magazine. Here with me in the KPBS studios is Mike Burnett from KJOY Radio, who's going to try to convince you in his own fashion to join us. Mike.
I'm going to pound on the table for a while up here, Pat. You know, there is no such thing as free TV. Yes, you can buy a television set and plug it in, and you have KPBS, or you have the NBC station, or ABC, or CBS, or one of the independents, and it would seem to be free, but those other people, those other stations, are selling advertising. When you watch a primetime TV commercial go by here locally, say between the hours of 8 and 10 at night, you're watching about $1,000 go right into that television station, plus or minus a little bit depending on the station, but roughly in that neighborhood. We don't have that vehicle to generate money in order to continue our operation. We have to come directly to you and ask you to call us at 265-1020, become a member of KPBS. Now, those commercials that are run are part of the cost of doing business for the companies that are running those commercials, and they do add to the cost of the items that you buy. And in fact, they say that the average is about $150 for every man, woman, and child in the United States per year. $150 is what you pay to see those programs and advertising costs that are added onto the goods that you buy. Well, we don't add any advertising costs onto the goods that you buy because we don't have any advertising. We need to come to you, and $150 is not what we're asking for. We're asking you for a mere $5 or $10 per month. We even have very basic memberships available at $25 per year, and that is a tremendous buy in programming. When you think about the number of hours that you spend with this television station, I think you'll agree that that is a great buy. Whatever you can afford to pledge, whatever is comfortable for you to pledge, call us with it now at 265-1020. If you can afford to pledge, you know, I've just lost the pledge price for this book, but it's The World of Movies. I think is it 10 or 5? $5 per month. Thank you, Pat. Pat bailed me out there. If you can afford to support this television station for $5 per month, this book, The World of Movies, can be yours. It is a complete history in black and white pictures of the movie, from almost the invention of the medium clear up practically to the present day. It is filled with pictures of your favorite stars and scenes from your favorite movies. If you're a movie fan, this is something you really should have on your bookshelf, and it's yours as a thank you gift from us if you can support the television station for $5 per month over the course of a year. Call us for that reason. Call us because you can get On-Air magazine, call us because you can get a tax deduction, or call us simply because you believe in quality programming and you want to see some more of it. Because frankly, if we don't get the support from the people, we throw the switch. One little switch turns off the transmitter and it's all over. It really is. I mean, this thing can go away. Hopefully it won't, and we're very committed to continuing the programming and to continue to upgrade the quality of the programming, but we need your support to do it. 265-1020 is the number to call. We had a goal of 350 new members when we went into this evening. We have 430 in the door. You've given us a tremendous response tonight. That's right. A round of applause for you, and I hope a round of applause for themselves, for our volunteers as well tonight. So thank you for your response, but we can always use a few more. Every membership counts. As we mentioned before, I'm Mike Burnett, and with me is Pat Finn. Pat's going to take one more shot at making at least one more phone ring here before we go back to the program. And there it is.
Thank you, Mike. Actually, I'm going to tell you about a program that you're going to be interested in watching tomorrow. At least I hope you will be. It's a program entitled Musical Passage, which is the story of a very interesting orchestra. Actually, it's called the Soviet Immigrant Orchestra, made up of people who kind of risked their lives to play music. The music is wonderful, and the documentary is absolutely heartwarming. It's tomorrow night at 9, and I know you're going to enjoy it. Right now, we're going to go back in just a few seconds to the salute to the Jewel and the Crown, and last time I was wrong about who Susan Stamberg was talking to. I thought it was going to be Geraldine James, and it turned out to be the head of Granada Television, I guess, and then Art Malik. Well, she's only got two left, Charles Dance and Geraldine James, so let's see who comes up this time. Salute to the Jewel and the Crown.
I'm Susan Stamberg, and this is a special salute to The Jewel in the Crown. We're talking with the stars of the series.
Tell me, before I meet Bronowski, what did happen to Ronald? Was it a riding accident?
Don't ask me, Guy. Ask Nigel, or Dimitri, or better still, nobody.
Geraldine James, Sarah Layton, Charles Dance, Guy Perrin. It is Perrin, it's not Perron, it's not Perrott.
You're right, it's Perrin. Very good.
What happens to the two of you? What happens to Guy and Sarah? Do they end up getting married and living happily ever after?
Yes, they do.
According to Scott, in the there's a fifth book. There's a book that takes place in the 60s, and the main woman character of the book gets a letter from Sarah, and it's Mrs. Guy Perrin. And they have two children called Lance and Percival. Have we discussed this? Whose idea was Percival? I mean...
I knew they had children. I didn't know they were called Lance and Percival.
They're called Lance and Percival.
And where are they living? They're in England?
Yes.
Yes, they're in Cambridge, I think. I think he goes on back to his historical... He's a lecturer at Cambridge University, and
I want to know more about Guy because, first of all, you came in to that series so late. It was not until episode 10 out of 14 that we first met you, so it must have been difficult to make a mark. And your character puzzled me a bit at first. I hope it was deliberate. That is, I thought, here's the man who's finally going to take charge, sort things out, make them work right, and you didn't.
There's not a lot he can do. I mean, he's come into the story really very late, the actual story. So many events have happened before he arrives in India, before he meets the Leightons and Ronald Merrick. And by that time, the machine is going very, very fast, and all he can do is really find out what has happened. And by that time, whatever's going to happen to Ronald Merrick, whatever repercussions are going to happen in the story to the characters involved, they're going to happen anyway. And there's nothing that Guy Perrin can do about it. He can't prevent it, nor can he accelerate the process.
For a while, though, it looked as if he was gathering evidence for something.
He's gathering evidence for his own benefit, really.
But he also allows, but he sort of allows the other character, he's more objective. Because he comes in at a late stage, he hasn't got this sort of involvement with, particularly with Merrick, that all the others have. Sarah and Nigel Rowan and Susan, they can't talk about Merrick the way that Guy does. He actually says it. He turns around and he tells Merrick to go off and all the rest of it. And he can do it. And the others, it's as if he sort of pushes the others into it. He won't let it go. He won't let Merrick's death go. He says, what is it? What is it? And they sort of go, shush, 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 don't talk about it. He says, come on, we have to talk about it. We have to find out. So in a way, he's a very important person. He does sort of he brings about, he makes the end of the story possible.
Well, and I also felt he represented civilization, that need to rationalize. I don't mean make excuses for, I mean bring rationality to a situation. And that's what he did. He was the fact gatherer, wasn't he? He came in and tracked it down and found out the truth of it. And in that way stands for British civilization on a certain level.
Yes, I suppose so.
What about Sarah's character? How does she change, do you think, in this?
During the whole thing, I think she learns to trust herself I think she begins to learn to trust herself as an individual. And that's much easier for me to say now because it's 1980. But for her in the 40s, she felt very unsure, very uncertain. She believed in something that she wanted to follow, but the situation was very rocky, and she knew she was behaving badly. She was going against all the sort of things that English, well-brought-up, middle-class English girls were supposed to do. She didn't do. And I think it's much easier for us now to look back at her and approve of her. For her, it was very difficult.
Now, is this why, maybe you've really put your finger on why I got so mad at her at certain parts. She was clearly spunky. She was clearly an intelligent young woman. She never stood up to that awful alcoholic mother. She never defended that wonderful Barbie as she should.
Well, I think in as far as she could defend Barbie, she did defend Barbie. I think she quietly defended Barbie. She stood up against her own mother. But the family and the power of the family was extraordinary, is extraordinary. And she was, in the end, she was somebody's daughter and somebody's sister, and that was her sort of guide. That was the only way she understood her life until Guy comes along.
And tell us how you decided on what the clues to your characters were. For instance, I see you sitting there now. You're sitting in a loose way in which Sarah never would have permitted. Do that. Do the Sarah that
Scott gives that. Scott always says that this is her. I can't do it. I got a big bump. But she has this. Scott, he writes, his characters are so vivid. And I was very lucky in that he wrote a lot of, and so is Charlie, in that a lot of the story is told through these characters' eyes. They become the first person. So in a way, there's a lot of detail in the books, which makes it quite easy. I mean, not easy, but it's easier for an actor because there's a lot of it there. There's a lot of material.
Can you tell a favorite scene? That's so difficult because you had so many wonderful ones together. But could you choose something that?
Well, there's a scene that's that we remember fondly. Actually, what do you tell about it?
We shot all the railway station scenes in England, all of them, right the way through, in a block in 1 month. But from episode 5, from episode 10, and from episode 14, all the massacre in the last episode. And our fond farewell, which was quite difficult because you have all the guys around with steam guns, and you're there and you're having this very difficult emotional scene, and they're going with his hose going so that convincing steam is just whistling past your ear just when it should, and all that, and reflectors because it's ghastly weather in England and it's meant to be India and all that. And we did this. It was this very sort of long afternoon's work, and this farewell scene was happening. And on one of the takes, we'd done and this Sarah standing there characteristically, and this goodbye, would we ever see each other again? What was going to happen? What would the future hold? And he turns and she waves and he backs away. And Charlie, they built the station, was a set, they built it. And Charlie's walking away looking at Sarah. And he backs away and he turns and he whacks his head on this light that was hanging there. And this classic sort of outtake. That's probably a very fond memory.
But the real scene was a whole lot better. Nobody got bumped and it was gorgeous.
It's very good.
Well, it's a great scene, that.
After 300 years of India, we made this whole damn bloody senseless mess. I'm sorry, Guy.
I'm sorry, too.
Geraldine James, Charles Dance, thanks so much for being here. Our television sets are going to be lonely in coming months without you. And thank you for your support for The Jewel in the Crown. Masterpiece Theater is now in its 14th season on public television. It's programming that only public television brings you. Thanks for joining us.
PBS needs your support to continue to bring you great programs like The Jewel in the Crown and all the other outstanding programs you've come to expect and enjoy on PBS. Call now and make your pledge of support. Thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed our salute to The Jewel in the Crown. If you haven't joined the celebration yet, take a moment to show your appreciation for The Jewel in the Crown by making a pledge of support to this station right now. Public television has been proud to bring you this critically acclaimed series, and you can share in that pride by joining the public television family. If you've supported us in the past year, or if you've just joined the family, we thank you. If you haven't contributed in the past year, there's still time to join the celebration. Pick up the phone and call us right now. Let your pledge be your applause. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Charles Dance, reminding you to do your part to keep great programming alive. Public television succeeds because you care and support it.
The Jewel in the Crown salute was made possible in part with funds provided by this public television station, which depends largely on viewer contributions. Please join them with your support. With additional funding from British Airways, flying to 139 cities in 70 countries around the world.
Well, there it is. The Jewel in the Crown salute. The party is over. It's time to close up the Raj, I guess, and depart, and we'll see next week or a week after next, I guess, what Masterpiece Theater will bring us. The series of short stories entitled All for Love. Good as though they're going to be, I have a feeling it's not going to match The Jewel in the Crown. If you believe, as I do, this kind of public television is the best kind of public television, please show your support for programs like this by making a pledge, by becoming a member at the basic level of $25 a year, or $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever your budget, whatever suits your budget. It's very easy. You just go to your telephone and dial the number right there, 265-1020. You tell the volunteer operator that you would like to become a member, and he or she will take your name, your address, and the amount of your pledge, and you will be back in front of your television set waiting for the Macomb and Clancy St. Patrick's Day special in just 2 shakes. We hope that you do agree with us that television worth watching is television worth paying for. And if you do, it is essential, it is very, very important that you do your fair share to support the programming that you like. We would not ask for your support if it were not essential, and indeed it is. 1 out of 6 people who view KPBS are members of the station, and from these folks, 42% of our revenues come. Without that 42%, we couldn't afford Masterpiece Theater, Sesame Street, or anything else for that matter. I think we would be showing a test pattern most of the time. So you can see how important your membership really is. If it were not true, we would not say so. Take it from me. Again, the number is 265-1020. With me in the studio is Mike Burnett of KJOY Radio, who has some words to say to you. Mike.
Thank you, Pat. It's been a great evening here at KPBS. You've given us an awful lot of support tonight. We had a goal of some 350 members, and we have shattered that. We tore it right down. We now have 465 new members in KPBS, and we would love to hear from about 35 more so we could close out the evening with at least 500. That would really do a lot for the programming that you're going to see over the course of the next year. It's so important that we have each and every one of your memberships. Don't think that anything over 350 is wasted or that it's going to put fat in the budget or something like that. It's not by any means. There's a dead sick camera sitting right over there that would like to eat up at least 65 of those memberships right now. So we need every single membership that we can possibly get. You call us with yours. 265-1020 is the number. 265-1020. You know, the only reason, if you're not a member, the only reason that you could enjoy this programming tonight is because other people are supporting it. Your friends, the people next door maybe, have sent in their money, and it is time for you to do your part. It's time to make that commitment and call us at 265-1020. Before you go to bed tonight, before you forget about it, get up and make that phone call. It'll take 30 seconds to a minute of your time, but it will mean so very much to us here at this television station and at the Associated FM station as well. There's a great FM 89 associated with this television station. They do some very fine work too. There's an awful lot of good programming emanating from this little complex here, a complex that is anything but fancy, anything but plush. We have depended on the kindness of strangers here in order to feed and water this crew that we've had through here during festival, and it is very important that we have your support tonight at 265-1020. Now, if it's comfortable for you to jump in and support this television station for $5 per month, we have a thank you gift that we'd like to share with you. It is The World of Movies, a history of the movies in black and white pictures from the very inception of the medium clear through almost to the present day. And it is just filled with pictures of your favorite movies, of your favorite stars. Some of the pictures very rare, all of them captioned. It is just a very entertaining book. And also, as you see, some reproductions of famous and not so famous posters for movies and movie trivia. It's just a marvelous book for movie fans. Yours, again, as a thank you gift from us. If you can support us for $5 per month over the course of a year, and the way you start that process of support is by calling us right now at 265-1020. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 6 empty phones right now, and we need you to ring those phones so that we can keep bringing you great programming. It's that simple. 265-1020 is the number. 265-1020. We spend 76% of our money on programming and production. 76%. That is a big chunk of change, as we say, and that is all spent for your benefit. Please, we need you to give us a bit of benefit of your hard-earned money of $5 a month, $10 a month, $20 a month, whatever is comfortable for you. Call us with your pledge at 265-1020, and our friendly volunteers will be happy to take that pledge. It's a very simple process. Our friendly volunteers are from the Department of Communicative Disorders at San Diego State University, which sponsors the Speech and Hearing Clinic, and they're also from Target Stores of San Diego. We do thank them for coming in and spending their Sunday evening with us here at KPBS. Oh, I was trying to do a silly thing with a panda and it didn't work out. Can you get that? Well, this is a neat thing you can do with this panda. See, this panda will just sort of follow you around just like that. Well, that's yours for $10 a month, just one of the premiums that we have for you. Thank you so much, you all, for coming in and spending your Sunday evening with us, and thank you for your support tonight. And here's Pat.
Thank you, Mike. You know, I think coming here before these cameras every night, every afternoon, is an act of faith, really. It's an act of faith that when we say, please call, you will call. We have purchased programs in the belief that we'll be able to pay for them because you're going to call. And indeed, tonight you have. You've called in nearly record numbers, and we are very, very grateful. We thank those of you who are members. We thank you extremely for your patience, actually. I know it's tough to sit through these membership breaks when you've already become a member. Stop, I've done it already. So we thank you for your patience, and we hope that those of you who are still resisting our appeals will stop their resistance soon and become a supporting member of KPBS. We would like to thank the Rebel Bakery in Ocean Beach for the cookies we all enjoyed this evening. As a matter of fact, she's taking a picture of a very nearly empty plate because we all did, and there's some very nice bread muffins over there, which we all enjoyed this evening. Thank you very, very much. We also would like to thank the Coca-Cola Bottling Company of San Diego for wetting our whistles and providing our voices with some needed encouragement this evening. They did that, and they have done that very generously every evening, and we thank them very much. We thank all of you. We would like to remind you that we will still be here for a few more minutes to take your pledge at the basic level of $25 a year or $5 a month or whatever you can afford. And we would like to wish you all a good night, I believe. Maybe, maybe not. No, not a good night. We would not like to wish you a good night. We would like to stay here and talk a little bit longer. Actually, we really wouldn't, but we'll do it because we're getting ready. We're racking up the tape for Tommy Makem and the Clancy Brothers in concert at Dublin.